So, based on what it looks like from the first look of the Honor Magic VS hands on, is that it's actually pretty dang amazing. Now, obviously, no, I've not picked up this phone yet. No, I do not have this phone in my hand and not used it. But based on early reviews of this phone, when reviewers have gotten it, it has been very, very positive. Especially with the fact that we know Honor has already said they're going to be shipping out to more than just China. They're going to be going not international, but more countries, which of course makes this phone a lot more affordable and available for the average consumer. You guys did not see my video before. The thing that makes the Magic so special is it does come in at a price tag of $1,000. Of course, that is because you can get this phone at an 8GB version of RAM, or 8GB of RAM, versus a 12GB option. And also, it does have the Gen 1 processor, not the Gen 2 processor. So, it still has a lot of great stuff about this phone. But again, the biggest compromise is if you want to get the 12GB RAM option, you're going to spend more. And also, you're not going to get the, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. That's really the biggest problem. Now, based on early reviews, everything has been very positive about this phone. The outside looks absolutely gorgeous, and the inside display also looks gorgeous. So here is, of course, what we are looking at. A Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, which again, like I said, even though, yes, that is not the newest, greatest processor, that's only a year old. So it's not really too crazy insane. It does have a 7.9-inch inside display, which of course is 90 hertz. A 6.45-inch outside display, which is 120 hertz. It does offer you an 8 or 12GB option, a 256 or 512GB option, 5,000 milliamp battery, which I still freaking am amazed that we do not have a foldable cell phone on the market right now, outside of this one, that has a 5,000 milliamp battery. You see this in like the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Why is this not in a foldable cell phone? 5,000 milliamps, very important when you have two screens running at once. A 2x16 megapixel front shooter. It does have a triple shooter on the back, a 54 megapixel, a 50 megapixel, and an 8 megapixel. Connectivity is, of course, Bluetooth, 5G, dual SIMs. You already know it. It does have a stylus support, so it can support a stylus. Now, keep in mind, it does not have a stylus, what's called port, so it doesn't have a hole for it. You can't actually store it in anywhere. A stylus silo. Doesn't have a silo in the whole entire phone. So just like the Galaxy Z Fold 3 4, you're going to have it as a separate thing. It's not going to be able to go ahead and go inside the phone like a Galaxy S22 Ultra would. Kind of whatever. It does come in Cyan, oh my god, I don't know why I couldn't read that word. Cyan, black, orange, and gold. It does weigh 261 grams, which is kind of very heavy for a smartphone. 66 watt wired charging, so no wireless charging on this. Also, no IP rating and no micro SD card support. So, of course, what you're sacrificing on this phone is, of course, that inside display not being 120 hertz. Your Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 versus Gen 2. So, you're sacrificing a year of, upgrades to the actual processing unit. If you do want to get 12 gigabytes of RAM, you have to pay more for it. So, that's kind of a downside. So, let's say you just get the base model. You're going to get 8 gigabytes of RAM versus a Galaxy Z Fold 4 that comes in now at what's seeming to be $1,500 with all the discounts. And that does offer you, of course, 12 gigabytes of RAM. So you get 8 versus 12. And, of course, no IP rating, no wireless charging. It will have NFC, but that's really a lot to kind of downgrade off of this device already. Now, of course, it does have Honor Magic VS Refine hardware. Is the only company's second foldable phone after the original Magic V, but it already feels more redefined and sturdier than many second generation devices. The advantage for The honor here is that it didn't have to start from scratch. The Magic V is clearly related to the Huawei Mate X2, so it's likely that the honor could build on the top of the work started by Huawei before the company splits from its former parent. So again, like I said, yes, it's not really, at the end of the day, you're not compromising too much. If you do end up getting this phone for $1,000, you're getting a little bit older processing unit. You're getting a bigger outside display than the Z Fold 4, which I think is an absolute W. And you're getting all around a really good phone. Now, 8 gigabytes of RAM versus 12, is there really a huge difference? Yes. If it depends on what you're doing. If you're just media consumption and just using the phone for everyday tasks, no. But if you are gaming on it and you are really, pushing it to its limits, it's good. There's going to be a difference. Now, obviously, with Android, you do have the ability to have Virtual RAM Plus, which is pretty much when you're gaming, you can get up to 4 gigabytes of external RAM. Technically, that's virtual RAM. It's not as fast or as solidified as normal RAM is, but you do get that. So if you are gaming on this device, you're going to get a little boost there. But other than that, you're not really going to get too much. It does have a 1080p outside display, which is, of course, aspect ratio of 21:9. It's a good looking phone. Like, here's what I look at, right? As said many times, we're not going to see a real competitor against Microsoft, against Samsung. Honestly, Microsoft, just put them in the corner. Against Samsung, until one of these companies, their product absolutely explodes and takes off, right? And that's why I do all the time like to cover a lot of these, phones, even if they're not. As long as they're like legitimate phones. I like to cover them because I like to give them good publicity. I love to see as many good phones as possible put in the market so we can actually see some competition with Samsung. But at the end of the day, Honor, this is their second phone, right? So they're going to take probably another generation or two before they're truly able to compete 100% with Samsung. Now, as the article said, at least they have the, plus of already kind of copying another company or their parent company to really make this phone. So it's not like they're starting completely from scratch, but they definitely do not have the 4 generations of Galaxy Z Fold 4 that Samsung does, right? So they don't have all 4 years of figuring out, okay, this doesn't work, this works, that works. Waterproofness really wasn't a thing for the Z Fold series until the Z Fold 3, when they found out they could put liquid stuff on the actual components to make it waterproof. That's something that might take 2 or 3 generations for, Honor to go ahead and really figure out. But as we move on with the market, Honor creates this cell phone, right? Now you have another company comes out. They create a cell phone very much like Honor, and they can use Honor kind of as a guide. Okay, this worked, this didn't work, this worked, this didn't work, and then so on and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see, how this ends up working out and how this ends up going. But for right now, I'm very excited about this phone. I'm very excited to see how successful it ends up becoming. And, moving forward, it's just pushing the market closer and closer to having somewhat of competition with Samsung. And I'm really expecting early next year for Samsung to come out with their own, new foldable phone that is going to be pretty much the Surface Duo 2. I'm expecting that too. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.